I found a tape of a woman being killed. I was at my grandmother's house, helping my grandmother move furniture. She became a mother figure after my mother died when I was just a young child. I've been staying with her ever since my car accident. My grandmother helped nurse me back into health, so I made an effort to alleviate her of any and all physical tasks. I felt it was the least I can do. It was in the attic when I accidentally knocked over a box. The box was filled with tapes, with the fathers dating back to 1990. All that was written on them was the year. There was a TV in the attic as well, because we used to use the attic more as a functioning room than a storage space. So I decided to play the oldest tape. I expected to see happy memories, some home videos, anything other than this. The video starts with whoever's holding the camera filming a woman sitting alone at a small table at a coffee shop. She's reading. The camera was zoomed in on her hair glowing in the light. The tape then skips to a new setting in what looks like downtown Chicago somewhere. I can see the back of the same woman from before, walking down the street, oblivious to the person trailing and filming behind her. The sky is now dark gray. I can see the light from the passing cars bouncing off her shining boots. The camera is clambering and rubbing against the jacket of the cameraman. He or she, not far from her, but is clearly far enough away to show that he's not with her. Clearly stalking her. The scene lasted maybe 5 minutes of monotonous walking until it was shifted to the woman now bound and stowed to the trunk of a car. She was taped up, unable to speak. All I could hear was the sound of heavy rainfall accompanied by her screaming and crying. Her muffled panic broke my heart into two. My spine became frozen. I couldn't open my eyes any wider. Any movement from the film could shift into something more grotesque, so morbid, so life-changing, and all I could do was watch in horror. I saw a black glove covered hand spout from behind the camera and slam the trunk shut, trapping her inside. It's now clearly night. The next scene skips to the woman, now beaten and bloodied, while tied to a chair. The location looks to be a warehouse somewhere. The only light coming from a single fluorescent bulb above the woman, illuminating pools of crimson red blood at her feet. The camera is steady held, so much so that it seems like it's being propped up by a stand. I can hear the poor woman moaning in pain underneath the tape covering her mouth. I can also hear something shifting around in the concrete, like someone adjusting their stance. It seemed manic. I can hear metal, like tools being packed or unpacked from a bag. My stomach now fully turned. The stalker then walks into frame, showing his back, his head completely covered in sweat. He carried a blade in his right hand. My heart completely halted. The stalker then held her drooping head up, tilted her face upward, and began to slice her throat from her left ear all the way to the right. She squirmed and gargled in her desperate and useless attempt to survive. I had never seen so much blood in my life. The killer then takes off his mask and stares into the camera, flashing a toothy grin. The film then abruptly stops. I was held in place by my now shot nerves. My blood slowed into stillness, completely discoloring my body into an almost corpse-like white. My grandmother was watching me. She Shakily tried to console me from across the room, struggling to form words through the river of tears streaming down her face. She said she didn't want me to ever be reminded of who I was before my accident.